Hi, Jen.
You look beautiful. I'm in Florida, so melting. Not to rub it in.
No, it's beautiful outside today, and it's making my life like a little bit more positive. And honestly, this is the first time I put on real pants and makeup in like 3 weeks. So thanks for trying to, this was a good push.
Yeah, good point. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say thanks again. I know, given everything that's going on, just saying thanks for taking the time for us and the Shape Girls. It's
You're
really,
so
I think
welcome.
everyone is really looking to you for advice, myself included. And we got some really interesting questions. I think a lot of things people will relate to. So I'll dive right in if that's okay with you.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Yeah. So I really wanted to kind of set the stage and get like a fundamental question out there. I think, this is such an unprecedented time and new normal for everybody. I know for me, over the last year or two, I've really kind of found my fitness schedule and it's what works for me. And I totally had to reevaluate that and figure out, how do I keep activity and fitness and my goals, in place during all of this. And I think for me, I use exercise as a way to relieve stress. And I think a lot of people listening do as well. But, anxiety and the unknown of all of this right now is hitting us all really hard. So,
yeah.
What is your take on how we can use exercise in a healthy way to kind of deal with that? And maybe, keeping in mind not going overboard or not, adding something new when we're already a little bit frazzled.
Sure. Number one is remove the anxiety around this urgency of if I don't get this now and I don't get it right exactly in this first week of this quarantine, that it's just downhill from here. To me, right. I think that my advice is to, get curious. And, it's fun to kind of, to me, be challenged to get in another lane, whether it's, it's the silliest example, but when I get my hair done and she parts it a different way, and I was like, I don't know. But now I kind of like it.
Is this me? Yeah.
So this is the world forcing you to kind of part your hair in a different way. And I think that instead of using it as a way of like, out of fear, anxiety of, I don't want to gain weight, I don't want to fall off track, all of the I don't want to's and the negatives, see it as the positive. Like you said, how to use it in a positive way. For me, I'm using it to help anchor my schedule. I'm not saying I want to de-stress, I want help with anxiety, I want to lose weight. I just think I need schedule. For me, I'm a Virgo, so I get up and I go for like a walk run. Right? Yeah, this is why we're...
Yep.
And for me, the side effects of the scheduling, yes, is that it's helping me deal with anxiety. Yes, it's helping me think more clearly. I'm getting more creative ideas. I am doing it outside, and I know not everyone's comfortable, but I'm not near anybody when I go. So it to me, that's the way I would say it. Like pick what you need it for, and the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah, I really love that. Like pick what you need it for type of mentality, because it's like, you would think that way no matter how you were working out. Like how is it serving you? Totally. And I really think I totally hear you on the structure thing. I think it's 2.5 weeks in of working from home, and it's really helped for my structure of my day. But actually that's a perfect segue into my first question is, I think, we've gotten a lot of feedback, and myself as well. I think, we're always told to schedule in your workouts, right? But I think that kind of went a little haywire when everyone was at home. They're like, oh, like I'll just stop what I'm doing and do like a 20-minute yoga flow in the middle of the day. And then that doesn't happen. So I guess, talk to me a little bit about how important it is to commit to some kind of schedule, or at least try to.
Well, it's funny. You started our call saying, I put on real pants today, right? No one can even see your pants, Alyssa, right? But
they're jeans,
there we go. Show them, there we go. But like, you were like, this is important. I'm going to, your hair is like, you got set up. You have to look at what's going on in your life is just as important as a work call, or what we're doing. To me is like, we're stepping up to try to create some leadership and support for our community, right? So, you're taking it seriously. Please take yourself seriously, right? I hear parents talking about, these are great ideas for kids. This is a great way to keep kids in schedule, put their school uniform on. Why are I love kids, but you are important too. Take what you're doing just as seriously. So that's why I think with the schedule, like, I will admit it was hard for me at first, because I'm like, you're so stupid. What, really, you're going to set an alarm and then do 15 minutes of book time? And then I did it one day, and that's all I needed to keep going. And that's what I gave everybody. Set your schedule, whether it's time, stuff with kids, walking dog, mark it up. Let yourself know where you got to go. cross those things off your list as you go, or whatever it becomes. And all you need is the evidence of how you feel after one day. And you're like, oh, I do that again. Right.
Yeah.
And that's like for this week, like right now I have to tell you, like, I don't have every answer, but I'm looking at this at least like 7 days in a row is about all I can reach mentally right now. And I think that's the way we should all, because we want to be able to pivot in this experience, you know?
For sure. And I think, again, like we're figuring this out as we go, right? Like when it comes to being productive at your job, to, again, like at home workouts, to, you know, frankly, like what's safe is changing all day, every day. So I think like I totally agree with that sentiment to like make it in bite-sized things, what you can control day by day. And I think it should eventually kind of flow.
And I said before, be curious, try something. And if it doesn't work, don't do it again. I think there's a weird thing where if something doesn't quite work, or I set time for a workout and I missed it, or the amount of times in the last 7 days where I've marked in my calendar something and it was the wrong time zone and I missed it by like an hour, and I was like, oh, I'm like, well, okay, I'll get the time zone right. So when you guys
got this time zone for this live, right, girl? Like, check.
But you know what I mean? Like when that happens, just be like, oh, okay, that didn't work. But that's information too. Or if you try to get up early to take, like maybe you're in California listening and you're going to get up and take my 9:30 Facebook Live. You're like, oh, 6:30 is too early. I can't do that. Great, don't do it again. But then do something that will work.
And I think it's really just being kind to yourself, right? Like allowing yourself that space to like figure it out and fail and try again the next day.
Yeah. And it's not even failing. It's just doing. This is part of doing, you know?
Yeah, cool. One follower question I thought was super interesting that kind of relates to all of this. So she was saying that she's struggling to find motivation to work out at home, which like totally feel that. A lot of people need that group fitness environment or that gym environment where they have other people to kind of, I don't know, motivate them, around them, just having energy. Thoughts, feels, advice?
Yeah. So what's cool is if you can do it at home, man, your fitness journey is going to look good and easy when we get out of this quarantine. And it's a great quote, but you know, a smooth sea has never made a skilled sailor, right? So you're having an opportunity to build skills here in a way we haven't been forced to stretch our brains mentally. And I, you know, listen, like even in doing Biggest Loser, a lot of the reason when I would coach them, they would put weight on back at home is because when you're on campus, you're not having to drive by fast food restaurants or go through candy aisles, and you know, like, so you're able to work muscles now mentally in that mental fitness, so to speak, where you're like, okay, this is harder than I thought it would be, but let's work that muscle just like you'd work your biceps or your core. So that's step one. I think the other thing is real tactical. Like, make it a group environment. Like I teach classes in my living room every day, and it's because people are showing up that I'm giving even better output. So whether that's showing up, getting with the coach, having a roll call. I know a lot of gyms have been closed, but a lot of those gym owners are either assembling workouts online or even offering equipment. Check in with your coach. Say, can I write you every morning, right? Sometimes I do that with friends. Like I literally have like a big face chat with like all my Zoom meeting, all my friends in Chicago last night. We are like, if you want a workout body, find someone, call them, put it on FaceTime and sweat with each other.
Yeah.
Do it. Because
instead of like virtual happy hour, virtual sweat hour, like whatever you got to do. Yeah.
Yes.
And to your point, totally. There's so many classes and studios doing streaming, and there's so much out there that, you know, I think being able to find something that just works for you. And again, like trying and failing and pivoting and whatever, but there's
somebody there. Meet somebody there. It's not just I'm going to show up. It's like, Alyssa, tomorrow, 6:00.
Yes.
I'm doing Peloton or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let you down. Right. And so meet somebody. Do that.
Great. I'm into it. Okay. So I want to get into equipment because a lot of people had tons of questions on equipment. What everyone's working with, the space and, you know, the environment is going to be different. But I know a lot of people might be in apartments, so they have either small space or don't have necessarily, again, if you're like me and don't work out at home that often anyways, you don't have that much to work with. So, you know, do you have any kind of like five top versatile pieces of equipment that you should have on hand?
One. I'll give you one.
Yes, go for
it. Okay. So
show and tell.
When it comes down to it, when you don't have space, I squeaked this floor. When you don't have space, you don't have equipment, there are ways that you can create diversity in your normal training. So I always follow my 3 T's: timing, right, tempo, and tension. So if you're doing, I'm actually like in a workout outfit, so forgive, but here we go.
Do it.
I'm at my shorts. If I'm doing a squat, right, and I'm going like this, normal body weight squats, that's okay. But if the moment I'm slowed down and change my tempo or create timing, pauses and holds in the movement, gravity starts to get real heavy. Okay?
Yeah.
So when you change your tempo and the timing, even if like 15 seconds and 30 seconds and switching exercises, it keeps it mentally interesting and it forces a different kind of recruitment in your muscles and therefore development. So you really can get stronger inside with nothing. My only tool, everyone's got a hand towel. Maybe not, maybe the world's out of paper towels, a hand towel. The millions of things I can do with this, it's my favorite example. If you create, I call it tension towels. Like if you pull your towel sideways and you're gripping it, look at, like my arms are lit up, just squeezing.
Yeah.
I can do curls. Again, constant tension pulling outwards.
My mind is blown right now.
Raises. I know I can do rows. The key is the tension. So you get as much input into your muscles, as much output of tension you create. I'm doing behind the back presses. And if you really want to get after it, I'm gonna put you on the floor now. Here we go. Now we're moving and grooving.
Okay.
Here we go. You guys, put this on your feet.
Oh, sliders. Yeah.
So I can do double here. I can do single legs, doing my climbers. I can do stuff with my arms. So all of these things, just with a towel, give you tons of ways to really diversify through timing, tempo, and tension. So
really, it's not about like tools necessarily. Yay, yes, everyone has a towel on hand, but it's really like you're getting creative, right? And you're thinking again, tell everyone again, time, tempo, and tension.
Tension. Yeah. Okay. And that's awesome. The thing I would say, like, sure, I mean, dumbbells are on back order for like 4 weeks, so maybe put an order in, but you can get one dumbbell, like a 35-pound, you can do one hand for legs, 2 hands for upper body.
Yep.
Get one, but in the meantime, we got plenty of stuff. I know at Shape, we're giving a lot of examples that we can do stuff just like this at home. So, and I kind of like the break, Alyssa. Like, we can't just go, like for me, I'm like, I can't just go grab a barbell. I can't just do my normal. It's forcing me. I'm doing more body weight. I'm doing way more core and Pilates.
Yep.
I'm doing more stretching. My body's actually kind of loving the change. Even like the outdoor running. Anybody that knows me knows I'm not the fastest.
I know, I love that about you,
passionate runner, and I'm out running.
Yay!
My legs are
I am not. So I'm glad one of us is. Wait, so everything you just said, I have so many questions now, like swirling.
I'm ready.
Okay, so first and foremost, before I forget, you had mentioned kind of like if you do want to, invest in weights, which to be honest, totally, I'm sure you relate to this. Like if you are used to lifting heavy stuff to really like, that's your happy place. What should you invest in? What would be like, how do you choose what weights? What's the best option there?
For me personally, I'm pretty advanced. I feel pretty strong in my upper body and lower body. I would get at the very minimum 135-pound dumbbell. If you're like, I work out, feel pretty fit, need some weight, but not quite that much, get either a 25 or 30. And if you're on the latter, I would not go less than a 20, because you could take a 20-pound, I'll use my water bottle. You could take a 20-pound weight and hold it and do lunges and like sumo deadlifts or like squats. But with arms, that 20 pounds become 10 and 10, right? You can do presses. You can do bench press on the floor. You can do a single arm row. So I think that one weight diversifies. So if I think beginner, I would say a 20, intermediate 25 to 30, more advanced 35 to 40 is as a woman. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. That's great. So you talked a lot about body weight stuff and just really kind of like getting down to fundamentals of fitness and kind of that functional training, right? Like I think there's a good opportunity here, right? To kind of focus on form, focus on recovery, focus on the things that you hadn't maybe been doing as much as you should, right?
Yeah. There's this thing, I don't know if you've heard it, it's been going around like win the weight. Like, win this downtime, win the weight.
Yeah.
And WAIT, not pounds. And I thought, how am I going to win this weight for me? And I think everyone listening should ask themselves that question. And when you talked about focusing on form and basics, the word popped up in my head is like, I think my body's healing right now. I almost feel like it's rehab.
I love that.
I'm getting positions, range of motion. I'm finding a better mental stamina in the exercises because I tend to get a little bored and I'm staying there longer, and I'm finding that the conditioning then is getting better because I'm mentally staying there, and so I think like in the way you need to, and like for me that's healing, like just joints, body, feeling good, and brain.
Yeah. Cool. I want to get to a couple other user questions, and this again is relating to equipment or kind of being versatile with what you may or may not have on hand. But someone asked if you have any tips on utilizing things like furniture, like couches or chairs. I think we see a lot of this in a lot of workout videos.
And if you guys want, like it's all on my Facebook. I'm not deleting the workouts. I'm using only a chair. And there's a couple ways you can use your chair. I can show you a couple examples as well to kind of just give people something to take home with. I like it whenever you think about push-ups that are on the ground. Sometimes that's a little bit advanced, but if you elevate your hands, you take some weight off your push-up. So yes, you can do push-ups here. You could do narrow grip. You could do any of that. But what I've been doing is hold isometric. So I'll go down part way and hold at an incline. I'll start doing knee pulls like this, okay? I do stuff like that. I use the chair as a range of motion, so I can hover here. I also flip it around, and I use it as support, doing single leg lunges, things like that. And I could use that towel and do a slider with my back foot, and this gives you support. Another kind of advanced way to do it, if you make sure that your chair, I'm gonna move you back, is secure, you can use this as a way to step up and plank to really get some level changing.
So
you can
creative,
advance it or do some shoulder taps if you want to get inverted, things like
no big
this.
No big deal, guys.
And I've even, well, that's my Rolodex. And also I've been playing around with doing some planks. So where my leg is elevated here, and I'm getting some work here,
Smart.
some leg manipulation. So I honestly think that, what's cool is there's so much free content out there between, I know, me, you have Kaisa, you've got Victoria, we got all these programs going.
Yeah.
But use it as support in ways that you can provide, again, that tempo and tension in your body with the support of the chair. So that's the way.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to just like look around your apartment, right? Look around your house, and I guarantee you have stuff that you never thought of that can be, a good tool.
Yeah,
awesome.
Exactly.
Okay, so also we need a chair workout from you now. So be
So,
prepared.
what? Oh, a chair workout.
I'm gonna request a chair workout from you now. Yeah. Okay, I wanted to make sure we got this in too, because I think a lot of people can relate. Things like limited space, or if you have a roommate or a partner that might be working at home and it doesn't like jive with your workout schedule. So I guess my first question would be space. If you have a very limited amount of space, like, what can you do? And secondarily, before I forget, there was a really interesting question that someone said that they're pretty private about working out. So if there's any tips to dealing with others being in the apartment, if, you're just a solo fitness gal and you don't want to be huffing and puffing with your roommate trying to work next to you. Yeah.
That's real. Okay, so the first question is easy. What can I do in a small space? Everything. That right there is the space I work out in. I work out on that. Oh, I must drop the camera. I work out right there. That's it, with a little bit of floor space. You can do everything. And there's a lot of moves we posted on Shape recently, very low impact. I call them like soundproofing your feet moves. Like I'm on the first floor, but some people are like, in between floors. You can do it all right here. Okay, so it doesn't take much. Be creative. And if you don't know, look to Shape, ask for help. There's plenty of great options there. As far as the privacy thing, I think it's very real. And I also think, to me, and it depends on the spaces you have. It depends, I know in my bedroom, I don't really have space to work out, but downstairs I did. So I think it's a matter of just being very honest and broaching the conversation, saying like, I'm just a little shy, and could you be in the room for an hour or whatever, or find out when they're going to be showering, doing their things, and get your work on.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about it too much, just because I actually think it's a great conversation to broach with yourself. You can continue to work around somebody else for your life, or you can just live your life and not really worry what they think when you're working out. Yeah. So yes, you can separate. I think those are easy things, but I'd rather push you the direction of why isn't it a big
totally
deal
fair.
for you?
I think we're all getting used to like being a little bit more uncomfortable with our surroundings, started out uncomfortable and are trying to get more comfortable in this new normal. So like now's the
but
time
this is
maybe
about
to
being comfortable with yourself. Like I don't love that either, but I'm like, well, but this is me.
Yeah.
So
Jen, this brings up a good question, and it's actually one of our last. I want to make sure that we stick to time here. But you know, I'll preface this by saying obviously your local and state governments have different ordinances in place for, you know, getting outdoors and distance outdoors, and you want to maintain that distance regardless. But if you have curfews or things like that in place, so obviously be mindful of those. But if you are able to get outside, and I think it's just for mental clarity, it's so nice to make sure. I know for me, my husband and I have made it a routine now that after we work every day, we'll take our dog on a long walk, and like I look forward to that so much. Anyways, so what about working out outdoors? If you have the ability, what are your thoughts? I'm sure you recommend it. If there's, you know, any takeaway as far as like running outside. And again, I don't love running, so that's not for me. But, you know, what are other ways you can get active outdoors right now?
I mean, listen, all you need is a 10 by 10 square foot of grass if you really wanted to move and groove in there with your mat outside. I would tell you though, especially now, I would be kinder to yourself in that process outside. I think right now you should use outdoors as a safe place to kind of really breathe fresh air and think clearly with less pressure. I don't want people to think I got to go, I got to grind, I got to hit 12 miles,
Right.
I got to do these sprint intervals. I'd actually recommend you doing it in the morning if you can. It's quiet, it's clear, and it's mostly empty because people won't be up early. So it's kind of like you're the one waking up with the world without any people there. And whether, if you want intervals, you can always do like a 2 or 3 minute jog with a 1 minute walk. You can always crescendo that, or even run downs are another great way to do it. It's like 7 minutes on, 1 off, 6 on, 1 off, 5 all the way down. And it's a great 35-minute run walk. And I just would, I'd almost encourage people to hold that outdoors as a space to use for a mental reset or reboot for your day versus making it like this activity, like making it like about a result, if that makes sense.
No, it totally does. Yeah, utilizing the outdoors as a safe space and a time to kind of reset and get out of your 4 walls and your brain for a minute. Yeah, I totally.
And I think if you cloud that with like exercise for weight loss or something, I worry that then you won't have any space for that.
Totally fair. Great.
You know?
Great takeaways. Okay, guys, that's all we have time for today. I did want to say thanks so much again, Jen, for joining us and your expertise, and for everyone who sent questions ahead of time. I'm sorry if we didn't get to all of them, but the good news is that if you do have other questions, we have our private Facebook group. You can find us at shape.com/bestgroup. That's all one word, best group. And luckily we have a really solid community of women who, you know, share ideas and ask questions. And we have experts like Jen who try their best to answer when they can. And I really find it to be a safe space and really a learning space for everyone. So join us there, and we will catch you next time. Thanks, Jen.
That's perfect. See you.
Bye, guys.